I'm 71, and if I'm being honest with you, I never imagined I'd be sitting here saying this. For most of my life, I thought I had everything under control. I thought I was doing it right. But somewhere around my mid-60s, something shifted, and I started seeing things differently. What I'm about to tell you might change how you look at your own life, and I hope it does. Because the truth is, most of us are walking around half asleep. I grew up in a time when you were supposed to follow a very clear path. You got an education, you found a stable job, you got married, you bought a house, you raised your kids, and then, if you were lucky, you retired and enjoyed your golden years. That was the script, and I followed it. I did everything I was supposed to do. I worked hard, provided for my family, paid my bills on time, saved for retirement. I was responsible. I was reliable, and I was miserable, though I didn't even realize it at the time. See, the problem with following someone else's script is that you stop asking yourself what you actually want. You just keep moving forward because that's what everyone else is doing. You tell yourself that happiness is just around the corner, that once you hit the next milestone, then you'll finally relax and you'll finally enjoy life. But that day never comes because there's always another milestone, another bill, another responsibility. Before you know it, you're 65, then 70. And you're looking back wondering where it all went. I remember turning 65 like it was yesterday. I had just retired after 40 years at the same company. 40 years. I got a nice watch, a plaque, and a small party with people I barely knew. And I went home that night thinking, is this it? Is this what I spent 4 decades working toward? Don't get me wrong, I was grateful. I had a pension, I had savings, I had security, but I didn't have time, I didn't have energy, and I didn't have the relationships I thought I'd have. My wife and I had grown distant over the years. Not because we didn't love each other, but because we had spent so much time just surviving, just getting through each day, that we forgot to actually live together. We were roommates more than partners. My kids were grown and living their own lives, and I barely knew my grandchildren. I had spent so much time working to provide for them that I missed out on actually being with them. And my friends, most of them had either moved away, passed away, or we had just drifted apart because we were all too busy with our own lives. So there I was, retired with all the time in the world, and I felt emptier than I ever had. That's when it hit me. I had spent my entire life preparing for a future that was always just out of reach, and in the process, I had missed the present. I had missed my life. I started thinking about all the things I had put off, the trips I never took because I was saving money, the hobbies I never pursued because I was too tired after work, the conversations I never had because I was too distracted, the risks I never took because I was too afraid of failing. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I had been living my life in fear. Fear of not having enough money, fear of what people would think, fear of being irresponsible, fear of stepping outside the lines. But here's the thing about fear. It doesn't protect you. It just keeps you small. It keeps you from experiencing the fullness of life. And by the time you realize that, you've already lost so much time. Around 67, I decided to make some changes. I started small. I picked up painting, something I had always been curious about but never made time for. I reached out to old friends I had lost touch with. I started having real conversations with my wife, the kind where we actually listened to each other instead of just waiting for our turn to talk. I planned a trip to Ireland, a place I had always dreamed of visiting but kept putting off, and you know what? It was terrifying. I felt ridiculous, a 67-year-old man learning to paint like a child, reaching out to people who might not even remember me, spending money on a trip when I should have been saving for who knows what. But something incredible happened. I started feeling alive again, not because I was suddenly good at painting or because the trip was perfect, but because I was finally doing something for me. I was finally listening to that quiet voice inside that had been whispering for decades, the one I had been ignoring because I was too busy trying to be what everyone else expected me to be. That trip to Ireland changed something in me. I was walking through this small village and I met this old man sitting outside a pub. He must have been in his 80s. We started talking and he told me he had lived in that village his entire life, never left, never traveled. And I asked him if he regretted it. He looked at me with these clear, bright eyes and said, "Regret is just a word for all the love you didn't give and all the chances you didn't take." That hit me like a punch to the gut. I came home from that trip with a new perspective. I realized that I had been so focused on security and stability that I had forgotten about joy. I had forgotten about connection. I had forgotten about wonder. And the worst part was, I had taught my kids to do the same thing. I had passed on my fears and my limitations without even realizing it. So I made a decision. I was going to spend whatever time I had left actually living, not preparing to live, not waiting for the right moment, just living. I started saying yes to things that scared me. I started saying no to things that drained me. I stopped caring so much about what people thought. I stopped trying to be perfect. I stopped trying to have all the answers. And I'll tell you something that nobody tells you when you're young. The older you get, the faster time moves. When you're 20, a year feels like forever. But when you're 70, a year feels like a month. It's terrifying and beautiful at the same time. Terrifying because you realize how little time you actually have left. Beautiful because it forces you to appreciate every single day. I look at my grandchildren now and I see them making the same mistakes I made. They're stressed about school, about careers, about money. They're so focused on the future that they're missing the present. And I try to tell them, I try to share what I've learned, but it's hard because you can't really understand this until you've lived it. You can't really grasp how precious time is until you start running out of it. But I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to tell you what I wish someone had told me when I was younger. Your job is not your identity. Your bank account is not your worth. Your productivity is not your value. You are not here to impress people. You are not here to meet everyone's expectations. You are here to live, to experience, to connect, to love, to create, to feel. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for more money, more energy, more clarity. It's never going to feel perfect. Life is messy and uncertain and constantly changing, and that's okay. That's actually the beauty of it. Call your parents. Not next week, today. They won't be around forever, and neither will you. Spend time with your kids, not quality time, quantity time. Just be with them. Be present. Put down your phone. Look them in the eyes. Listen to their stories, even if you've heard them before. Take the trip. Pursue the hobby. Have the difficult conversation. Forgive the person. Ask for forgiveness. Tell people you love them, not because it's a special occasion, but just because. Make mistakes. Make mistakes. Try things you're not good at, embarrass yourself, fail, get back up, try again. Stop living your life for some imaginary future version of yourself who's going to have more time, more money, more energy. That version doesn't exist. This is it, right now. This is your life, not the one you're planning for, not the one you're working toward. This one, the one happening right now while you're reading these words. I'm 71 years old, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that the things that matter have nothing to do with success or achievement or status. What matters is how you made people feel, whether you were kind, whether you were present, whether you loved deeply and openly and without reservation, whether you experienced joy, whether you took chances, whether you lived. I've buried friends who were younger than me, people who thought they had time, people who were going to travel someday, people who were going to mend relationships, eventually people who were going to pursue their dreams. When things settled down, things never settled down. They ran out of time. And I've watched people waste their final years bitter and full of regret, still holding grudges, still caring about things that don't matter, still waiting for life to begin. Don't be that person. Let go of the anger, let go of the resentment, let go of the need to be right, let go of the past. It's gone. You can't change it. All you can do is decide who you want to be today. I'm not going to lie to you and say I have it all figured out. I don't. I still make mistakes. I still have regrets. I still waste time on things that don't matter. But the difference now is that I'm aware of it. I catch myself. I course correct. I don't beat myself up about it. I just try to do better tomorrow. The greatest gift of getting older is perspective. You start to see patterns. You start to understand what truly matters. You start to let go of all the noise and the nonsense and the things you thought were so important, but really weren't. You start to see people more clearly, including yourself. You become more forgiving, more patient, more compassionate, not because you're trying to be a better person, but because you finally realize that everyone is struggling, everyone is doing the best they can, and life is too short to hold on to anger. If I could give you one piece of advice, it would be this: don't wait until you're 70 to figure this out. Don't wait until you're staring down your mortality to start living intentionally. Don't wait until you've lost someone to tell them you love them. Don't wait until it's too late to take the chances you're afraid to take. Your life is happening right now, not tomorrow, not next year, not when you retire. No, and every moment you spend waiting is a moment you'll never get back. I promise you, the regrets you'll have at the end of your life won't be about the things you tried and failed at. They'll be about the things you never tried at all. The risks you didn't take, the love you didn't express, the experiences you postponed, the person you never became because you were too afraid. I'm 71 years old, and I didn't think this would happen. I didn't think I'd wake up one day and realize I'd wasted so much time. I didn't think I'd feel this urgency, this desperate need to tell people to wake up before it's too late. But here I am, and here you are, and we have this moment right now. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep living on autopilot, following someone else's script, waiting for someday? Or are you going to take a deep breath, look around, and start living the life you actually want? The choice is yours. It always has been. But the clock is ticking. For all of us, make it count.